This is Ashton Marcus, and I'm on location at the Zephyr Theater for their presentation of Gardel's Tango. Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI, 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
Hi, Ashton. John Lacey. Nice to meet you. I am the writer and director of Gardel's Tango that you saw this evening.
I thought it was fantastic. I love the piece.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Question, what drew you to write this piece?
Well, I'm originally from Argentina. I came here with my parents when I was very young, and there was always the nostalgia of the immigrants that my father had, especially on Sundays. He would listen to the tangos that my grandmother would send him to stay in touch. And as a young boy, I wasn't very interested in the tango. It was rock and roll era, right? But as time went on, I started to listen to the lyrics of the tango, and they're very poetic. And I thought one thing that was very different from the tango shows that had been done on Broadway, etc., they've always been dance numbers, and if there was any singing, the singing was always in Spanish. So the American audiences never really got a chance to hear the poetry of the tango and the themes of the tango they're always about love and passion and a bit melodramatic. But as I had the idea to write this show, and then unfortunately when my dad passed away, I was inspired to write it for him, basically, as an homage.
I always ask directors about casting because I feel that 90% of your job is actually casting, and you did a fantastic job. I love all these actors. What do you look for in your casting?
Oh, thank you very much. Well, in this play in particular, the role of Gardel is very difficult to fulfill because he does have to be a great singer. He has to have quite a bit of charm to finesse the ladies and keep them in check because he's always womanizing, and so that was a challenge. And then also his sidekick needed to have very good communication between the two of them because he supports him and he encourages him, and actually he's secretly in love with Gardel. Speaking of the character La Pera, so he kind of competes with the women in Gardel's life who are a challenge to him. So yeah, I looked for that, and also the balance of I have a great actress in Hildy Brooks that plays the mother. I feel that really humanizes the character Gardel because we see a different side of him. We don't just see the ambition. We also kind of see the little boy and how he becomes that way to get out of poverty and make good and keep his promises to his mother. And then I also have the young girlfriend who is in a bad situation with her uncle, the maestro, who is a violent man. He's kind of a mobster and he abuses her, and she wants to get out of that environment. So she kind of hitches her star to Gardel, who's a younger guy, and he's obviously a talented person who's going places, and she has her own dreams of going places and going into opera and singing as well. And then with Saratoga Ballantyne playing Sadie Barron Wakefield, the Baronessa, who's a rich heiress to a tobacco fortune, we kind of see a different side of Gardel, the Gardel that's kind of a gigolo and interested in using women to some extent, but to fulfill his dreams of recording and being able to get into the movies, and it's all a challenge because it's all of these characters were real, and it's a true story, and basically he was being groomed by Paramount Pictures to take over for Rudolph Valentino. And so he gets a 7-picture deal and winds up making all those films. He's also aided by technology in the era because records had just come out and radio had just come out. So it allows him to go beyond the borders of Argentina and also airplane travel, which ultimately leads to his demise. But he's able to get around a lot and tour throughout America. And he is actually very prolific in his work ethic, because he winds up recording like 1,000 tangos and writing over 100 original compositions, including some of the most famous tangos, like you see Al Pacino dancing in "Scent of a Woman." That's one of Gardel's tangos that we have in the show. And then he records all of these movies, and even though he and his friend and his whole band, wind up not surviving this airplane accident, people refuse to believe that he's died, because recordings continue to come out. Kind of like Michael Jackson would be in this era, right? He has a lot of things in the can, and the movies start to come out. And so people make up stories. He becomes this myth, kind of like a James Dean that died too soon. And that's why people say, still to this day, that Gardel sings better every day. That no one has really surpassed him.
Once again, I thought this piece was a masterpiece. Basically, I felt like I was transported to another country, to another time. The people you chose, it almost looked like Gardel was a silent picture actor. His face, his mannerism, his movement, he just went right into the character.
Yeah, thank you. Anibal had a very good career in Argentina. He did a lot of musical theater. He did Kiss the Spider Woman with Hal Prince. And so it's a matter of taking advantage of that talent. And then folks like Hildy Brooks from the Actor Studio, where I continued to develop the play. And we've been working on this for about 5 years to get it to the point where it's at today. So I'm happy with what they've done, and I'm glad we get a chance to show it to an American audience, and I hope everyone will enjoy it. So we're here till December 18th, running Fridays, Saturdays at 8, and Sundays at 6 at the Zephyr Theater at 7456 Melrose. So come see us.
Once again, fantastic. I just loved it. I thought it was I honestly think it's one of the top 10 shows that I've seen this year. So I just thought it was fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much. I really appreciate you coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. And I'm here with
Aníbal Silveira. I'm an actor from Argentina. I was born in Buenos Aires. I can say very happily that I had a career in Buenos Aires, mostly in musicals, like Broadway shows down there in Argentina, for many, many years, until I had, I think, a breakthrough role in my career down there in Buenos Aires with Harold Prince. It was A Kiss of a Spider Woman. The production company bought all the rights, the royalties for the play, and they also hired the director. And the team, the production team, like 11 people in Buenos Aires, taking auditions. I was invited for the auditions. After the audition process, short story, I got the part. My life changed completely. Ever since, this is 1995, TV shows, plays, musical and straight plays, lots, tons of them. And then I moved to United States. Sometimes you don't know where life can take you, and surprisingly, I just ended up following my heart, marrying my ex-royal wife. She was living here in Los Angeles already. We met in Buenos Aires in a parties, in a friend's celebration, his birthday, and the rest is history.
And which character did you play tonight?
I play Gardel. Gardel is, for all the Argentinians, like an icon in regards of tango music. He really changed the tango, becoming just a dance song to become a saying song. So he's the one who really introduces for the tango all this new thing of singing, right? Because people used to hear tango music and start dancing, and he's the one who really becomes the first icon as a tango singer. So for all of Argentinians, he's an icon, like it could be Che Guevara or Eva Perón, in the same kind of level. So it was not hard for me to start looking for some strengths and see how they will be opening doors inside my creativity persona or my creation or whatever with the role. Ended up being very touching and moving and unique to be able to sing the tangos in English. I think the translations are something well done. It's different. I can see myself recording, tangos in English. Who knows?
I loved your performance. You were fantastic. I mean, you basically were the entire play, and I just loved it.
Hey, thank you so much, and thank you. It was very important for us tonight to have people in the audience. I should say for the first time, all the holidays are around the corner. So Thanksgiving and Christmas time is almost here. Everybody's celebrating. We didn't have the opportunity yesterday to have our last dress rehearsal with friends and family. Nobody wanted to come. They were all having dinner, turkey dinner for Thanksgiving. So what we ended up is having a run through before the show and then the show, which is very particular to have some people around and celebrating you. And for me it was the first time to measure what the reaction in the audience could be. And well, it could be better, it could be worse or whatever, but it was satisfying. It was very, I was very mobilized, and yes, and remember my Buenos Aires. So, particularly at the end of the show where I sing Return, that song, Volver, it means a lot, for all of us Argentinians. So it was very moving and, emotional.
One thing I'd like to compliment you is you were playing it almost like a silent movie. I could see your expression in your face. Yeah, you're just stretching your face out. Did you do that on purpose? It felt like you were that character doing a silent movie.
There's a big connection with the era of Gardel's lifetime, where you can see him in the first talking and singing picture. So the makeup, the expressions, the face expressions are a little bit over the edge because of the requirements of the silent movie era. Actors, I think that they were used to more theatrical expression. So I wanted to work on that. It's a fine line, You can really step on the other side of the line and be yourself overacting instead of just feeling. I picture myself, Gardel, in the movies. In the transition from the silent movies to the talking pictures. And I think in that particular period of time is my imagination in regards of how the facial probably expression should be. When I saw Sunset Boulevard with Glenn Close, I still remember how she approached the role of this enormous actress, right, in Sunset Boulevard. And when she sings with one look, I can make the audience feel. So I was thinking about that, and I was trying to honor a little of those big actors the silent movie era gave us. So yes, I did it a little bit on purpose.
I also like to compliment you on your singing. Fantastic singer. You were wonderful. You really drew me back to that piece. I felt like I was in the 20s. I felt like I was in Argentina. I felt the way you moved. I could almost smell the streets.
Wow, that's a great compliment. Singing, well, when you are a musical theater actor, singing is the epitome of the scene. It's like the climax of your Technicolor dream. So it's like when the words are not lovely enough, the violins start to sound. And it's you, the one who needs to intertwine the speaking voice to the singing voice and not scaring the audience. Like, oh my God, he's singing now, and then he stops singing and then he talks. For me, I think it's one of the most difficult challenges there's in the musical theater. When you are a musical theater artist, you have to intertwine your style, your not circumstances, but you have to find a way of a bridge, like musically get into the song without just stopping talking and now, oh yes, wait, I'm going to sing. La 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 la. You know what I mean? It should be part of what you are saying. So I really appreciate your compliment in that regards, really.
Yeah. Once again, I thought you were fantastic. Wonderful. Basically, I loved your singing. I loved your dancing. I loved your acting. I loved everything about the performance tonight. It was actually one of the, I would say it's one of the top 10 performances I've seen. I just loved it.
Oh my God.
10 performances this year. Once again, I just loved you. Thought it was fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. Thank you so much. Gardel's Tango, Melrose 7456, Zephyr Theater, Hollywood.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with...
I'm Richard Louis Warren. I played Maestro tonight. I started as a music editor in the business for 4 years in post-production. Then I became a composer. I wrote the music for Remington Steele and Dallas and about 500 hours of TV. Worked in production for a while, and then I became an actor about 6 years ago. I followed my sister, who's a big actress. Her name's Leslie Ann Warren.
Great. And which character did you play?
Maestro. Maestro's a gangster. He's a tough guy. He's in charge of everything, and he's got to keep everybody in line, and he's kind of a dangerous character. But as time goes on, he loses more and more of his strength, his powers, his control, and he gets further and further down. And as Gardel gets further and further up, a little bit like the movie A Star Is Born, everybody goes opposite directions, and then he ends up having to start over again, working for Gardel.
I loved your character. I just love anti-heroes. And you think of the father figure, he's supposed to be this great guy, he's supposed to be perfect, but no, he's like you. He's flawed. You got to wait until the kid grows up and replaces him, and it's almost like in the Greek tragedies where the kids got to kill their father.
Exactly. That's exactly what it is. Yeah, and it's hard for him to sit there and watch it happen and at the same time still be proud because he did learn from him. So he learned everything he knew from him, from the Maestro. So yeah.
Seeing as you have so much experience in show business, one thing that struck me about his lifestyle was it wasn't a happy lifestyle. He was successful. He was famous. He met a lot of nice people, but he had a lot of garbage in his life. He went through a lot of hard times. Is that the way show business is like? I mean, is that the real life?
Show business in general? Yeah, it's a very tough business. There's a lot of people you have to contend with, a lot of egos you have to contend with, and there's a lot of disappointments along the way. You got to learn how to take a no because you're going to get 100 no's for every yes you get. So yeah, it's very much like that. Yeah.
That's why I like this show. I felt like it was so real. It wasn't like you were watching some cartoon or something, some late night movie where it's just nostalgic, fluff film. No, this was real. It was a little gritty. I just loved it.
Yeah, I did too because I love the different characters in the show. I love Augustine. I think he's great playing Lepera. It's great because even though he's gay in those days, that was not spoken about everything else, and yet it was still open to everybody around him. And Mantha was terrific as Isabel. She had that naivete thing happening, which was really terrific. So, and of course, Anibal. He was wonderful. He carried the whole show on his shoulders from beginning to end. He did a terrific job. So.
Once again, I loved it. It was just fantastic. And I loved your performance also. I just love the type of character you played.
Well, thank you. Those are the fun characters to play. I like those kind of guys because there's something a little bit meatier to him. He's not the nice guy,
Yeah.
I get to be enough nice guy at home. Get to be a mean guy on stage. I like that, a little bit various.
Once again, I loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you for talking to us. I appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed it. And tell your friends to come and see us.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Hildy Brooks. Well, in relationship to this play, Gardel's Tango, I saw a video of it that was done at Theater West, and I was so impressed and so moved that I told John Lacey, the director, I said, I'd love to be in this project if, Anibal will be in it. So it meant a great deal. And as far as the Gardel, Charles Ansvenor, his singing, the French singer, I think he patterned himself after Gardel of the speaking and the singing. And even Johnny Cash does it. So it's a very wonderful style of singing and then storytelling. And they were all storytellers. And I think that's very impressive about the thing. I play my mom, Gardel's mother. There is a strong implication that when a woman has a child out of wedlock at a young age, and that's her precious joy, there becomes a very symbiotic, not incestuous in any physical way, but a possessive way. It will always be her baby, always her child, and he will always say, "You're the only person I love, the only woman I love." And that was very charming to me. It may ruin the man's life, but it was a very intriguing thing. And John Lacey, our director, pointed that out to me very early, and I tried to find places and ways to incorporate that in a girlish way, because when you have a little baby, you know, you play and all of a sudden it grows up, but it's still that attachment. And so it doesn't become, you know, like something really too dark. When someone says, "I have no life without you," you have to have a lot of joy around it. Otherwise, it becomes like a stranglehold.
If some of my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
They should expect to, if they don't know anything about the character of Gardel, they should expect to see the development of an artist, the tremendous drive that someone who doesn't have a father and comes from impoverishment. We hear that all the time among kids in the ghetto. This is where we lived in Buenos Aires is basically like that, and the struggle to get out. If you have a talent, it makes that struggle a lot easier, and he did. And as he got more famous, he got involved. When fame overtakes you, you do a lot of things, as you saw in the play, with money and drugs and stuff like that. And we don't know what would have happened to the man had he lived. Dying at that age, like Buddy Holly, dying young or fairly young, at a very talented stage, really, like the Greek gods say, gives you an immortality. And I have an Ecuadorian shoemaker, and he wouldn't fix my shoes because they were too tacky. And I said, "I've got to have them for the play. I've got to have them." I said, "I'm in this play at the Zephyr, and it's about this guy called Gardel." He says, "Gardel! Gardel!" Tears came to his eyes, and he said, "My mama used to play that on the radio for me since I've been a baby." And he kept saying, "Gardel." So for some people, it has an immense reverberation. I didn't know anything about the man at all, but it still intrigued me. But for people, and that's why I was so moved when he sings in Spanish. That really affected me, you know, because the Spanish, Latin languages are far more melodious than English. English is harsh. So to hear him say those things in Spanish, even though I don't really understand Spanish, it was very poetic and sensuous, where English sounds, you know, and I'm an English speaker, and I'm born here, but I was very moved. This was the first time I'd heard it in Spanish. I was very moved by it.
I love this piece. I felt like I was taken back to another time, to another country. I love the dance, I love the singing, and I love the acting. The characters just... I loved the way you just threw yourself into your character. You accented every other character by the interplay.
You know, what's interesting for me is that my father immigrated to America, but he couldn't get a passport, so he had to go to Argentina. And he lived in Buenos Aires. It was very difficult to come to America. And there was no borders to sneak through Europe. So he was there for 5 years, and he's not with us anymore. It would have been something very moving for me to have shared that with him, because all he brought back from Argentina was a special kind of scissor and some photographs, travel photographs. And I remember saving them, and he never spoke about too much about it. But the fact that he'd been there and he wanted, my sister studied Spanish and he wanted me to study Spanish, but out of sheer arrogance, I studied Italian. But that meant something, that my father had lived there. And when I spoke to my sister and I said, remember Papa used to live in Argentina? She said, you remember that? So that was a kind of a sentimental thing for me, that he had lived there.
Once again, I really love the performance. I thought you were fantastic. I thought everyone was fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
That's very kind of you. Thank you so much for your generosity of coming here and interviewing us. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Saratoga Ballantyne. I started acting when I was a little girl, and I wanted to do Broadway musicals, but my parents moved to California, and I started doing television and film and commercials and studying, and I've spent my whole life doing this, and this is what I've achieved. The mediocrity level is unbelievable. But yeah, no, I love performing, and I love doing theater. I play the Baronessa, who is a very wealthy, well-to-do Jewish woman who kind of latches on to Carlos Gardel because she thinks he's the next Rudolph Valentino, and he's sort of using her for her money, but she's getting a lot of good loving out of it, and her husband's kind of a dud, so works out for everybody. My whole backstory is that she's an ex-showgirl, and George, her husband, met her when she was dancing, but she comes from money, and her father left her all this money. So even though she didn't have a lot of taste or class, she came into it, and she uses it to get what she wants.
I loved your performance. I really loved it because I just love flawed characters. I love the idiosyncrasies, and I love when an actor can actually, just project that. So I thought you were fantastic.
Oh, thank you so much. Thank you. It's such a pleasure to do. It's such a wonderful part, and it's such a wonderful piece, and everybody's fantastic. I mean, everyone says that, but it really is. It's been like a journey. And I did it 4 years ago at Theater West, another version of it. So it's grown and changed and gotten deeper, and I feel like I've grown into the Baroness. I really like turning into her as time goes by.
If my viewers decide to come and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
Oh, they're going to have a fantastic time. If they like music, they're going to hear incredibly beautiful music. I wasn't aware of Carlos Gardel before I was in this play. They will have a lot of laughs. They'll get a lot of history. They will learn about a wonderful, talented person that they probably didn't know about. And he had a great brief time and fame, and his recordings and films live on, thank God.
Once again, I thought you guys were fantastic. I felt like I was transported back to the 20s, or 1920s and 1930s. I felt like I was in Argentina, and I felt I really experienced this guy's life. It was
Our
wonderful.
costume designer really helped create the period, actually, because we got the feel of it from the clothes that we're wearing. So yeah, so she really did help do that. And the set, too. The script, the whole thing. I mean, it's just a wonderful creative piece. I'm really glad you enjoyed it.
Yeah. Once again, I really loved it. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you so much. What a pleasure to meet you. I look forward to seeing you at the theater again.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine. I'm here with
Agustin Coppola. 36 years of theater in Spanish and English in different countries. I did it all. I play Lepera, which is a friend of Gardel from the infancy, from very young.
What's your take on that character?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. It's very nicely written and has a very nice curve and matures throughout. And he's gay in a difficult time to put it out. So he tries to stand by his rights, stand by what he is, but not say much. Try to go through life with that. I love it.
I loved your performance. I loved the entire play. It was fantastic.
Wonderful. Well, thank you very much. We love. I'm Argentinian. I love the tango. So it's a pleasure to be here and to listen to Anibal. He has such a voice. It's great to be behind stage listening to him. And my role is to support him. It's very easy. It's very easy to support him because he is such a voice. It's wonderful to work with him.
Is it truly Argentina? I mean, I felt like I was in another time in another country. Wow. Was it truly? Did you feel like you were truly in Argentina? Did you basically hear the music? Did you see the movement, the dance? Did they move like they were from Argentina?
They do. The tango has a big revival in Argentina. When I was growing up, was no go there, but now has a big revival, and everybody dances it, and you feel it, and the dressing, and the music, and everything. We suffer in Argentina. We suffer like tango. It's part of our idiosyncrasy or whatever it is. Sorry.
Yeah. Once again, I loved your performance. I loved the entire play. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you very much for coming.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Mantha Balurdu. I was born and raised in Greece, and I moved here 7 years ago to pursue acting. I studied at Lee Strasberg, and now I'm doing my first lead in a play. And I did shot a commercial about Toyota, a national commercial, a week ago. And
which character did you play tonight?
Isabel. She is very tough. She goes for what she wants, no matter what, she's going to get it. And she likes to go after the impossible. And she's not afraid of anything. She has real feelings that stay connected for a long time, for her whole life. She loves truly and deeply, and she's inspired by the only one love of her life, Carlos Gardel, the singer.
You remind me a lot of a young Natalie Wood.
Thank you very much.
Basically, also, your character was very angelic. She was basically ingenue, and I kind of felt a purity that she had, kind of anchoring, kind of, taking this wild life that Gardel had, and kind of bringing him back home.
I tried, but he wouldn't go back. He preferred to die instead of going back home.
Once again, I really loved your performance. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you. Bye.
Hi, my name is Ashton Marcus. I'm with KUCI 88.9 FM in Irvine, and I'm here with
Holly Sokol. I graduated from UC Santa Barbara with my BFA in acting, and I also graduated from Oxford. I studied Shakespearean theater there. So I've been doing musicals and theater my whole life. Today I'm Isabel understudy and ensemble.
So what's your take on this piece?
I think it's just a very beautiful story about someone who went through a struggle to get to where he wanted to be, and I think it's really relatable in that sense, especially for artists, to really just connect with who you are and what means most to you. And in Gardel's case, I think it's love.
I was actually quite impressed by the dance, and you're a key to that. His dance, your dance, and the movement in general threw me back towards that period.
Yeah, I think the tango is a romantic sort of movement, but it's also very push and pull, cat and mouse. So it's sexy in that way, but it's not overly sexual. It's more it's more poetic in that way.
If my viewers decide to come by and see this piece, what should they expect to see?
I would tell them to expect a night of love and development as an audience member, as a cast member. Everyone moves as the tango does together in this. It's a dance piece in the sense of the poetry of the writing. The writing is very, very good, so it's an experience.
Once again, I really love the piece. I thought it was fantastic. Thank you very much for being on the show.
Of course, thank you for having me.
Gardel's Tango will be playing at the Zephyr Theater from November 25th to December 18th. For more information, search for AMB Theater on YouTube. Find the Gardel's Tango segment and click on the link in the comments line.